Hi, friends. Chris Kelly here. It is that time of the week again, and that means let's look at stats. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about what's probably going to go on. And why. Anyway, I'll jump right into stats. Let me hit the minimize button here. There we go. New listing inventory. I mean, all of the numbers are up. And all of the numbers are very similar to this time last year. Um, and that makes sense. I mean, the market was kind of on a tear, in into 20 and into 21. We have had a lot of months of really low inventory, as I keep talking about. But there's some things going on that will hopefully, and at least in one regard, will hopefully change that a bit. Will hopefully let inventory numbers come up. A little bit of seasonality. It's March. People always seem to think that, well, it's springtime. Now it's the time to buy and sell real estate and get your house ready and go to market. Statistically speaking, you probably could have sold your house in December just as easily as you could have in March, just with the market that we've had. Because as I've said before, the bigger culprit than seasonality is other variables like interest rates, inflation, a war across the world. I mean, other things. But the thing I wanted to talk about today beyond the stats is kind of the yin and yang between, that balance between we don't have inventory, we have more people that need housing than we have housing. And then interest rates putting a slowdown on the pace by which all of that happens. So which will prevail? That's absolutely the question. But in the numbers, like I said, inventory numbers have continued to come up. Pending sales have come up. Sold listings have come up. They're not very far off of this. Like I said, we're going to start seeing the 2020 numbers be a little screwy because this is right at the front end of when COVID hit in 2020. So these numbers will stop being relevant for a while, for comparative purposes, that is. So this isn't irrelevant, though. This is a thing, and it very likely is a thing that's here to stay. We've broken the 550 barrier consistently now on the median sales price, and we've lived at or north of 600 consistently now on the average. 24 average days, 5 median days on the market. Obviously, there's still properties out there that take a long time to sell for a variety of reasons, which contributes to that difference. Same thing with pricing. But the fact of the matter is that pricing has continued to come up, and it may or may not continue to move up at the same rate. Like we've been saying, I mean, this is going to happen. Everybody predicted that way early last year that probably this year that would happen. Well, with the things that are going on right now, that may accelerate that versus being at the end of this year. Maybe that starts happening earlier this year. Interest rates are, well into the 4s at this point. Which, again, historically, that's incredible. But when you're used to interest rates that start with a 2 or a low 3, it's a significant change. So there's some adjustment. But the fact of the matter is there's still more people that want to buy a home than there are homes available for those people. As inventory numbers come up, what we'll see is people that have maybe been sitting on the sidelines entering the market or revisiting the market. What might keep them out of it is realizing that, oh my gosh, I need to be able to buy for what I want. I need to be able to buy a $600,000 house. And because of rates, I only qualify now for a $500,000 house. So those adjustments are going to have a disruption, at least in the short term, with what goes on in the marketplace, for sure. There are still plenty of people that are moving from a house that used to be worth 300, now it's worth 600, and now they're buying a house that's worth 800. I mean, there's still a lot of that happening. The pain is felt the most by people entering the marketplace. So I could have a whole different conversation about that, and I'll table that for another day. But it's that, again, like I said before, it's that balance between interest rates coming up as a slowdown to inflation. I mean, really, that's the goal. But what happens in our world, it's a slowdown in and of itself. It would create a slowdown in the market. But then we're coupled with that, and by that I mean 0.8 months of inventory. That is beyond anemic, and you can see it's been that way for a long time. Um, this chart doesn't even show anymore when there was as much as 3 months of inventory. And remember that historically, 6 months of inventory is a balanced market. So anything under six, by definition, has always been a seller's market. This is fairly demonstrable that we've been in a really big seller's market for quite a while, much longer than this inventory chart even shows. But that's my point, is even though there's things that in and of themselves should slow down the market, this keeps it moving along. Now, when these inventory numbers finally do move up, when more houses get on the market than people are absorbing them, then houses will sit longer, and you'll stop getting 12 offers or multiple offers anyway on a property. And people will have to, won't have to bid 100,000 or 200,000 or just ridiculous over list in order to make a purchase work. I mean, there's definitely some crazy decisions being made in the marketplace out of necessity, because that's the marketplace we've been in. So it'll be a very, very interesting tug of war. But I definitely think that the slowdown that normally would have happened, I think, later this year, might start happening a little bit sooner, only because of the geopolitical activities going on in the world, and more specifically, rates moving maybe a little bit faster, maybe a little bit more than people may have anticipated. So that's where it's at. That's where I'm at with regards to market conditions. So as always, I love talking about this stuff, in case you couldn't tell. But if you do have questions about this, by all means, reach out. You can message me on Facebook, or send me a text message, or God forbid, call on the phone. Whatever flavor floats your boat. So would love to chat with you about it. And again, I'm gonna keep doing my public service announcement until we have filled our needs. But I definitely am looking for a couple of good folks to come join us to work on my team in a couple different capacities. So if you know somebody that you think might be a good fit, and these are salespeople. I mean, I've got fantastic staff, but I'm looking for people. I'm trying to grow our team by a couple of folks. So if you know somebody that might be a fit, reach out to me, or have them reach out to me. Happy to chat about that. We're pretty clear about what we want and why. So that being said, I'm going to call it a night. I hope you and yours are doing well. Hey, until the next time.